I'm gonna refurb my Stihl KM94 RC powerhead unit. I've bought everything I think I need for it. There's a bag full of bits here, and we'll go through them now. We might as well go through them now. Let me get them all out of the bag. I think they cost me around £50 for the parts. We have got a new bearing. Should be a second one of them as well. Yep, and a second new bearing. Not sure it needed the bearings, but I just ordered everything. New fuel pickup pipe. Oil seal for the bearings. Another one. So they're all there. What we got in there? Oh, a new primer bulb. New piston rings. And a gasket set. And there should have been a new carb kit, but it doesn't seem to be here. I hadn't checked, so that's a bit annoying. I thought it was a bit cheap. I expected it to be a bit more, so I think they haven't ordered the carb kit. Not a huge problem, because at the end I can do the carb bit separately at the end. All them parts are for the main engine build. So the first job is just taking it apart. Well, you've just seen me take the main engine block off of the bar, the handlebar and everything. So now we're to the sort of main bit I want to get to. So I'm gonna probably take the tank off next, and then the exhaust, carburetor, fly will have to come off at some point, coil. It's going to be stripped right down, cleaned, and then all the new bits are going to go on. So if you just watch along, I'll get it stripped down. So now I've got it down to that stage, which you can see hasn't took long, and I've got to undo them 4 now, and that will split the case. I'm going to probably leave that on because I don't really need to take it off. I can clean it all up with that on there. You probably saw that the exhaust was pretty blocked, so that could be some of the problem. The compression is probably quite good, but I'm just going to put new piston rings in it as I'm going to have it all apart. So yeah, I'm going to, the last bit of the strip down will be them 4 little bolts there. So I'll get them done now. Pretty nice, easy little engine to take apart. These can be quite tight. I have had it apart before. I think I even did a video on it in the past, but it's worked hard since. I'm going to have to get something better on there than that. What I've done is done it like that, so got T-piece, but it's tight because I think I put Loctite in before. I don't want to break the tool. Ah, that one has come undone. I thought I'd break the tool. Try that one. Come in. 2 done. 3 done. We've just got that 1 to do. Which one is that one? It's that one. So there's always 1, but I've done it. So I'll just get them undone. Now we can separate it. And if you look, piston isn't bad, but the rings don't look bad, but I will put the new ones in. Tiny little piston really, quite dirty on top. Give that a bit of a clean before it goes back together. But there we have the head gasket there, which might have been causing an issue. It just wasn't starting. I don't know what the problem really was, but I thought it's time for a strip down. And these are about £300 new, the whole unit, and for sake of 50, well, I think it'll cost me about £70 because I need the gasket kit for the carburetor, so it will be a bit more than I thought. Well, I thought it'd be that, but then when the parts come, I thought, oh, yeah, that's quite cheap. But I think they forgot to send some bits. So yeah, I've got to undo that there, I think now. Yeah, that there, and that there. So let's just see if they come undone. There we go. Hope you saw that. Got that bit off. So that is where some of the bearings will fit. We've got the crank, and then we'll tap that bit out lightly. Should put a nut on it really, shouldn't I? until it starts anyway, until it loosens. We've done it. And there we got the other bearings. That one's got the cover on. That's like a sealed bearing. The other side hadn't, I don't think. So that's a strip down done. We have there we have the tiny little crank and the piston. You've already seen that. So that's a strip down done. So what I've got to do now, firstly, is clean up everything, then replace them bearings and the seals. Yeah, so that washer goes on there. Don't know whether that's in the kit. It should be, but if not, I dropped it. If not, I'll find a little fiber. It's only like a fiber washer anyway. So my next step is taking that oil seal out. I don't think it's just going to leave it. I think I'm just going to have to tap that from the other side. So let's have a go. We moved it at all? No. Got to come. Might have been easier if I took the bearing out first, but I'm not sure I can do that. Do it that way. So we'll have a tap a little bit more. Done it. Yep, there you go, that's out, that one. So yep, that's rubbish. I think tap the bearing out that way if I can get something to fit in there, okay, to bang that one out. So let's see what I got and I'll be back with you. That seems to work like that. I'll give that a tap and hopefully it pushes the bearing out. It should push out a little way. It might push out the whole way actually, I'll see. So like I said before, it might shake a little bit, so I apologise if it does. Yeah, we've got movement, so I'll keep at it. Hopefully that's fully done it. And it has. So there we go. Don't think there's a way that bearing goes. Did go in that way, but there's no numbers or anything on that. So yeah, that just goes in like that. So I'll just keep that in place like that at the moment, put that to the side. Let's see if we can get the other one out tonight. And that's where I'll leave it. Here we go. One of them, the new one, if I can find it, did seem to have a sealed bit in it there, so I assume that will replace that one. Oh, you can't see very well like that. So I'll see if I can do this the same sort of way. I'll get the oil seal out first again. Don't sit so well, this doesn't. Might just be better if I lever this one out like this. Yeah, I think it is. It's coming. Yeah, it's much better like that. So, well, that's actually going to push downwards, that is. So I should just be able to do it like that. So if I do it the same way, there isn't no cover on that side of the bearing, so that does go inwards. Showed you the new one. So if I can just tap that down, use that socket again. Like, sorry for shakes, I keep saying it, but it's the only place I can really mount it at the moment. It's out. So there we go. I've cleaned this piece up of the crank casing, and I have the bearing on the bottom of there. What I've done, I've got a bolt. I'll show you it when I've banged it in because it's sort of in place now. Bolt, and I've put a bit of tape over the end bit of the thread so the threads don't mark the inside of the bearing. And that one is the old bearing, so I should push that in and it should work like that. So I'm just going to tap it. I could have gone the heat and freezing method, but I'm just going to do it like this because I think it's will be just as good and quicker. So let's see how it goes. It's going in, but it's gone a little bit one-sided, so it's in. Yep, happy with that. So that one's in. So now I've got the oil seal in place. I'll just get it back out. So I'm going to tap that in. I'm just going to do that with a socket. I haven't got no one holding the camera this time, so like I did with the bearing. So like I said before, the camera may shake a little bit. I won't go too hard with this, but it's dead on. That's a 14mm, that is. Nearly. I think I'm happy with that. Hope you saw that okay. Looks to be in there fine. So that's that side done. So I'm going to get on and clean the other side up and get to the same stage. So this is what I use to bang the bearings in. It's all it is a 10mm bolt, a nut, a washer, and I've packed it out with tape, insulation tape, so it fits in there. That's the old bearing. The new bearing will go on there, like so. So I'll get ready to bang that in. So now I'll tap that in. I've rested it on this bit of wood. I've packed it out a little bit with a bit of rag. Just check how level it's going in. Get in there. It's all in there nice and level. Just give it one double check, and that's in there. So and looking fine. So now I've got to do the oil seal. So it's in there. I'll just get it out again. So if you look down there, so I'll just drop that in, and then I've got this socket seems to do the job. It seems to be on the outside of it. So let's just gently tap this. To me, that actually all looks good. Just get above if you can. Lights a bit better like that. So, yep, that should all be good now. So both seals are in and both bearings are in. So I'll clean the crank up now, and then I can get that in. I've got to stick it together. I've got some sort of gasket maker stuff. When that goes together like that, it has to be sealed around the crack. So yeah, I'll get on with cleaning the crank up and then we'll do that. So now I've cleaned all the piston up and the crank is all clean. I'm going to get this side actually in because this is the longest side that's got to push through there. So I'm going to get this part in, so then when I push the other side of the casing on, it's only over the shorter side. What I'm going to do though is just put a little bit, I did put a little bit of WD-40 in there. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but anyway, it's not going to do no harm. Put that up there. I've just got a little bit of engine oil. I'm just going to put on the shaft that's going through. I could put it on the inside of the oil seal, but it's easier to do it on here, so I'll just help it on its way. So hopefully this isn't too bad to get in. Where are we? So that's gone past the easy part. So I'm just gonna gently tap the top of there, but I am gonna put the nut on it. So I'll just get the nut. So what I've done is made it just so it's gonna, if you see there, it's just gonna clear the side of the wood. So if I hold it, I don't think it'll be too bad to tap in anyway. Just make sure that the piston's out of the way, so that's not gonna get snagged up on anything. And then just a few taps, that should do it. The piston keeps moving, which is a bit irritating. I'll just give it a few taps. You might wobble a bit. That sounded good to me, like come to a stop. Let's see what it turns like. Hard to test at the moment, but yeah, that seems all good. I will just, to be safe, or just to make sure really, just tap it a couple more times. So that one's all in place now. I'm happy with that. So I've got to do the other side now, but I've got to put the sealer on the other side, and then we can get it bolted back together. So I'll get everything in place, put the sealer on. I have to wait about 5 minutes for that before I can clamp it together, and then yeah, we should be good to bolt the bottom pieces together, and then we can move on to the top part. So what I'm going to do now is put the gasket maker on. This is the stuff I'm using. That. And I'm just going to put that just round like the bolt holes and just round in that little groove there, and I'll put a tiny bit on that bit, but hardly anything. I'm not sure whether it even needs any on there, but I'm just going to put a little tiny bit on. So I'll start with that. I won't actually, because it come out a bit more than I wanted it to. But I don't want much on it. It doesn't need much. And then leave it about, let's say 5 to 10 minutes, reasonably warm, so I'll leave it about 7 minutes or so. I've used other stuff, but and I don't think it's as good as this. It's doing pretty good stuff. And you don't actually need much of it. Put a little bit around there. Cleaned the bolts off and got them ready, so I'll be ready to go straight away when this is on. Just put a tiny bit on there. Like I said, I'm not sure whether it even needed it on there. I think I'm happy with that. I don't want to overdo it, so I'm going to let that sit for about 7 minutes. Have a tidy up, and then we'll get them 2 bits of casing together, and then we'll be well on our way. So just show you again, that's the stuff I used. Good stuff. So it's been about 7 minutes. I think we're ready to put it together. So just one last look at that before I put it on. So I have put a little bit of oil on there again, just so it goes over the oil seal a little bit easier. And then I'm just going to slide that on, keeping that conrod out of the way. There's 2 dowels. There's a dowel, try and show you. There's a dowel there, and there's one on the other side as well. Just make sure they're in place. Hoping I can just sort of push it. Might be able to get screws in now. If I get the screws in, then it's going to just pull it all into place. Yeah, they're going to be fine there. Going in far. It's in far enough for the screws to start. They're probably the torque setting for this. I don't know it. So just going to go with what I think. Sorry, my hand's in the way a bit. I might better do a bit like that. Just get them just so they start to grab a bit. Because I want it going in sort of level. So So really this isn't ideal for something like an impact or something, really. It would be too harsh. You can hear it go, it's starting to go in, so. But it's only aluminium, so it could crack if you went too much on one. Just keep to going around like so. Remember all the time to hold your con rod out of the way, like I'm doing up the top like that. Just got a piston in my hand to stop it moving about. Must be getting near. When it stops sort of sliding on the screw you're doing, it sort of stops anyway. So it'd really be quite hard to overdo it. I think that one's tight. That one's still going a little bit. That one is tight now. And the bottom there. So now we have that back together. So I'm just going to double check them for tightness. That is tight. I can't go tighter on that one. That one actually did go in a little bit more then. So that means that one could possibly do the same again. So you're a bit out of shot. No, that is tight. That's tight. And that's tight. So I'm happy with that. Now, see how the crank moves around. It does. Actually, what I'll do, I'll just get the nut and we'll move it around on the nut. It'll be easier. So now, yep, I've got the socket on it. It's moving around okay. What I should probably do, and I won't do it tonight because I'll do it just before I put the pot and piston, well, the pot on. I shall just put a little bit of oil in the bottom, just a bit of two-stroke oil probably, just to sort of help it on its way, just to, because everything's new and it's got to sort of run itself in, so that'll help. A bit of lubricant in the bottom of there. Well, you can see it's all working quite well. So I'm happy with that. See there. So yeah, that's the new bearings and seals fitted. So I've cleaned up the cylinder head now. So that's all clean. But before I do anything else, I need to get this head gasket on. Just check it's the right way. It can't go the other way. It has to go like that. Do this without the piston rings on, because you won't get it on. Got the piston rings on, and then it sort of hooks underneath there, which has proven to be a little bit difficult. It's got to go. It'd be easier if the piston's right up. I'm gonna have to try and work that with the piston, yeah, like so. You saw that I had to have the sort of piston in the hole to do it, and then that bit, you can see there's a little piece there. One's done it. Get the other side in. There we go. It's in place. So it's holding there, and it hooks in under the front there. So we've done that. I'll just find something to lean it on. Use a screwdriver at the moment, because the piston rings have got to go on now. Just give my hands a quick wipe. There's the new piston rings. Both same. Just got them little low. Well, I imagine you have just the little locating bits. One there and one around the other side. I'll do that. It's hard for me to show you that really close up, so you can just sort of watch it from a distance there. If I can find the bottom one, because you want to do the bottom one first. We got really to the bottom one first, and make sure them little, where are we? Them little bits there, hard for me to there, so that goes the right way over the little locator bit. So that means they'll go like that. So let's get this one on. That one's gone on okay. So now I've got to do the top one, which is, there's a little piece I have to do it to. This one should be easier because I haven't got to go over top ring slot because that's where it's going in. So both of them are in place. That one's there and that one's there. So we're nearly ready to put the cylinder on now. So I've just positioned it and I'll get my tool for that and then we'll get that on. I'm going to smear the ball with a little bit of two-stroke oil. Just give it a little bit more. I want loads and loads, just enough to help it on this way. So that's done. I did say I was going to put some in the bottom, didn't I? But to be honest, I'm going to leave it in the bottom because that sealer stuff hasn't set yet and I don't want any oil sort of settling on there. So I will leave that at the moment. It should be fine. What I'll do is when it's back together, I'll pour a bit down the ball and then turn it over like that. And then it will, hopefully some will get down there. I'm actually hoping I can do it like that. I've got this ring compressor on and I just want it just below the top of the piston. Which way around to go? It goes that way around. And then I'm just gonna go for it, I think, but I can't do it quite like that because that needs to be at the. This could have come out of them locators. Now it has. Take two. Perfect. Get it all positioned all right, it goes on fairly easy, but I'm not sure. There is a stop thing I have there as well, so I think I'm going to have to use that for work on here. It was really hard, just a little bit tricky. So that's better now. I know it goes on that way. I'm over the top, I think. Yep, so I've got to get that. Try and show you. So I'm going to get that spring compressor over that bottom ring. Hopefully it hasn't moved. I don't think it moved out of the. There we go, we're on. So both of them. So let's get that off. Let's get that out. Check the head gasket's in place, which there's no reason it shouldn't be because it went in them locators. And then, try to show you, I'll just close up then. And there we go. I'm going to get them screws in now. It's another thing that's probably got a torque setting, but I don't know what it is, so I could have searched online. But everything I've ever done like this, I've just done it sort of tight. It's always been all right. Some people, you know, everything, they just like to do everything by the book, like the torque settings, and that's fair enough. Do what works best for you. So I'll just get these started. At least when I've got 2 started, then I know it's all in line, which it is now. So yeah, just in a second. The last one now. No, the got back together. That's all I've got really. So now the head bolts are tight. I didn't use any Loctite or anything on them. I didn't see no point. I don't think they're going to come loose. And yeah, let's have a look at it. Bit of compression. Look in there. Get my fingers over the plug hole. Nice bit of compression in there. It's working all nicely. So there shouldn't be anything at all wrong with that side of things. And yeah, we'll get that back together. Up to now, in part 2, I got to this stage and I'd fitted the new bearings in, new oil seals, a new head gasket and new piston rings. So yeah, that is all done. So it's fitting the auxiliary bits on now, like the clutch, what we have there, the flywheel, the exhaust, and that's the piece for the recoil to go into. I've cleaned all the plastics up, so everything is ready to go on and get it done. So yeah, I better get on with it. And also there was a petrol tank as well, a new pickup pipe for it. So what I'm going to do first is pull the other pickup pipe out of the tank, because it's going to have the filter on it. So I use this is off of a trampoline, just a thing that pulls the springs, and it works on a lot of them. So I just hook that out. And actually when I had the trouble, I did put a new filter on it, so that hasn't been in there no time at all. So just pull that off and put that to the side. So I will use that again. That could have a slight hole in it or something. To me it looks okay, but as I've got a new one, I'm going to fit the new one. So to fit it, just lever up that piece there. It just comes out like that. And then you've just got a tank like that. So do the same, just lever that out. It should come out pretty easy, which it does. So just pull that through. Check the one I've got is right, which hasn't got the hump bit on it, but it should do the job. It's the right, it's all the right length. So I suppose I should go for the new one really. I'd like it to have been exactly the same. Yeah, because it's got more there. It's sort of, rather than having the hump type in, it's sort of got sort of concertinas there a little bit. Measure it for length again. Sort of, it's the right length without the hump bit. I'm just going to go for the new one because I've got the new one and see where we go. I'm pretty sure that must be the way they make them now. But before, just off camera, I'm just going to blow that bit of muck out there so that that's gone. So now I'll put the new pipe in. So if I just put that through, then just guide it with my finger like that. Just push into place quite easy. Which it has, just felt it's going to the tank, okay. And then we just have that little piece, little right angle piece there. Out, pushing like so, and then I'll grab that with my trampoline tool again. Hook that out. And then I'll put that new filter back on it again. And then try to guide that the other side of the tank, which is going. It's a fashion, but it is going in there. Yep, so that's in there now. So I've done that now. So now that's done, I'm gonna get onto this bit. I haven't got a new pipe there, the green one, so I'm going to just leave that. I think that's okay. Didn't seem to have any leaks around the carb. I think I ordered it, but they didn't get it in. I only got that one in what I just fitted. That is just a sort of normal bit of pipe. I've got some universal stuff which I'll replace that. So what I'm going to do now is I've got a new primer bulb. I think that could be a lot of my problem. I think that primer bulb's got very weak, the one on there. It looks like it is even perhaps been leaking a little bit there in the past. But anyway, I'm going to put that on now. So I'll take the green one off, if I can get it off. Loosen it a bit. There we go. Coming. And there's two different lengths on there, see? And that one just pulled off will be the longest one. So I'll just clean around the end of there because there's a bit of gunk there on the outside, and then I'll push that in, and I'll just get a piece in a minute of that, well, saying the same as similar to that, and just cut it the length and put it on there. I'll do that now and then be back with you. So now I've cut that little bit of pipe and I'll just push that onto there, so it's going to all be ready to go back on then. So yeah, that's the tank done now. So that's ready to put on the other part of the engine when I've done that. So what I'm going to start with now on the main part is putting the flywheel on. So I'll get on to that now. So now it'll be the flywheel. The keys in that part is actually built in. I don't want you to see it from that side. No, that's actually built in, so that just goes into the slot on the crank, and then it's just that, tighten up. See how well that works. I pull cord down the plug hole, just locks it right up. So that's done. So now it'll be the clutch on there. So now it's the clutch I'm going to put on. There, I sort of kept it all together. So it goes like a disc on the bottom, then a little washer in there. Same that side, and then like a disc on top. The spring all looks good. I just give that a clean up, as I did with all the parts, just with some carb cleaner and some air to make everything sort of good as I can get it without going stupidly over the top. You know, you could wire brush it all down and everything and let it soak, but you know, it's sort of been degreased, put it that way. So it should be fine. So now that's on, I'll decide what I'm going to do next now. So it will be the exhaust now, and that was pretty gunky, that was. I sprayed some carb cleaner in it and cleaned up a bit while I brushed it off, and I've actually used my heat gun blowtorch, and yeah, I got a lot out of it. I was shaking it earlier and I can't hear anything in it now, and loads of little bits of carbon that come out. So that's had a pretty good clean, probably as good as I can get it. So hopefully that will be okay, because it was a little bit blocked. So yeah, we'll get that on. So now I'm going to put the exhaust on. I've actually got an extra gasket. Well, it's supposed to be a replacement gasket because that was already on that plate, because I have to put this plate on first, but a new one come in a kit. I don't think that originally had a gasket on, but I'm just going to put it on there because I've got it. It's sort of spare, so I might as well put it the other side of that plate, because I don't think that had a gasket on there, and I think it's better to have a gasket than not. I might be wrong, but we'll see. So that's if I can keep it in place, that is. So yeah, I'm just going to go with that. So let's see if we can work it. So what I'm going to try to do is put it all on as one, because that keeps falling off. I was going to try and stick it on with a little bit of exhaust paste, but I can't find it. So let's see if we can get this in, because it has to. I think it's going to work. Get it to start them evenly. It should be okay. I'm not sure about that gas. I'm not actually sure about that gasket, but I can't see it's going to do any harm on there. In a way, it should help really. I do see that on things sometimes where you think it should have a gasket and it doesn't, you know. And like on carburetors, there's certain ones that I've looked on the diagrams and where you think there should be a gasket, there isn't one. So yeah, well, that's the way they're made, so I suppose it's okay. So yeah, that's all tight now. So we've done that. So where are we to now? Well, I think I can take that out now. I'll just put the plug back in just to stop anything falling in there. So now we're going to put the coil on. Well, actually not quite yet, because I'm going to take the plug out and put this plastic piece on first. I actually nearly forgot it, and that has to go on first and fit in like so. I think that's how it fits in. It doesn't feel brilliantly how that's fit in there, but must be how it goes, because this acts as like a spacer for the coil. So I need a business card now. I need to put the coil in place, which is that way round. The magnet is sticking now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that back off there again. Put the card in there. Give me my gap. I think that's okay. The little bolt holes are right, so I'll just get them screwed in. I won't do that one fully until I've got the other one in as well. One's going now. So yeah, that's all good. I'll put that card out now. So now I'm going to tighten the plug. That's all tight. I'm going to put that on. I think we're nearly there now. So I think we're about ready to put the tank on now and fit the last bits on. I did put that on off camera. I just put that on. That's just a bit for the recoil. So that is on, and yeah, it's just like it's an all-in-one. That nut is sort of welded to the other bit, so it goes on together. And all I did, the same as the flywheel, I just put some pull cord down the plug hole to stop the engine turning to tighten it. So yeah, that's done. So yeah, I think the tank could be the next bit now, and the tank fits in there and there. So I've got it here. There's the two rubber mount parts. So all I just do is put them, I say just, that is going okay, I think. Yep, and they're into their places. So we're getting well on with it now. So I'm ready to join the engine part back with the handle part now. So you won't be able to see much here, I'm sorry, but it's just fitted in it easy. Just well, the clutch just pushes into the clutch. I'll show you quickly. The clutch drum there, and that just pushes nicely together there. We have got to put that on soon, the cable, but actually that does go on the carb, so that's when the carb goes back on, so I don't have to worry about none of that. There is one wire just there. I don't know how well you can see that. There's a little piece just there. Yeah, you can just see it, just a little terminal. The yellow one goes to there, and then that black one runs through that groove and then down to on the top of the coil there. You can just see that little terminal there, and then that goes on there. So that should be good, because all the on and off and everything will work now. So I'm going to fit that top part back on now, because that fits in between there and there. For the Hawkeyes of you, I've had to put the old primer bulb back in, for the reason being there's two little clips to hold it in place weren't wide enough, so it was loose in where it holds. I shall order a new one. It's not much hassle to put it on. So let's carry on and get this done. Actually, I've been away from it a couple of days, and I actually have got now somewhere around here, if I can find it, a new proper primer bulb. So that means I can take the old one off now and properly complete it with the new parts. So I'll just unclip that. Hope this one is right. So there we go. I'll just check that. Yeah, that fits in there spot on. So it's a longer one that goes on, so I'll just put the longer one on there, and then that short bit of pipe, replacement one I made. Just double check that was right. Yeah, it was. So yeah, I'm not sure what way round that goes, but I'm gonna go with that. So lovely new one in there. So now I can put the carb back on. I have cleaned the carb out and fitted a new diaphragm and gaskets in it, but that's going to be on a separate video, because I think quite a lot of people will probably just look up for a carb clean. So rather than involve it in here, it will be up on my channel as a extra video really. So yeah, that is all clean and done, and the link to the video will be underneath this video for the carb clean. So now I've got to try and remember how it went on, which is pretty straightforward. Let's just move that over slightly like that. We need gaskets, don't we? So yeah, I found the gaskets, and what we have is one like that, one the same like that as well, and that one, which I'm not actually going to use because I never took the block bit off there. Try and lift it up for you. That block just there between the carburetor and the engine block. So that would be the one I need if I took that off, but I decided not to. So these just go on like that way around. I haven't got much bench room, so I can't really show you brilliantly, but I hope you can see okay. So that goes on like so. Then the carb goes that way, but I have to push it onto there first, which went on easy. So yeah, now you can go on like that. So check everything's good. Ah, there is that one to go on as well, that blue one, but I can push that on just down underneath there. Let me try and show you there where the blue one's just about to go on. I'll push that on now. So yeah, that's all good. Then I'm going to go with that one, and that just goes on the same as well. I think it's that way around. It is. Throttle cable. Got to unscrew that there. I'll screw that, and then that just all sort of fits into place. And there's where a throttle cable goes. I think it'll be a certain way to put that through. Well, I think so, but let's just have a go. Like go through both ways on it. Yeah, that's okay. So that is in place there. What it sort of does there is that bit of cable cover sort of goes into like some little grooves in there. Zoom you in a little bit. There, that sort of cable goes into the grooves under there. So I'll just screw that up, so that should be all good. Gasket back on. Yeah, there's a filter housing, and right underneath there, it's hard to show you on top of the tank. I'll try to show you, because the problem is I've got the end on now and it's harder. Right there, you can just see the end of that. It's like a little pipe, breather pipe on top of the tank. Well, this part on the filter housing goes onto that pipe. So let's get that on there. And they're nice and easy. Then this just goes on there like so, and then there's 2 nuts to go on there. Let's just get them on if I don't drop them, which I have dropped one. Bit fiddly to get on. Just grab a tool to do them up. One of my favourite little tools, this, and it's come from Poundland. It's just £1. I've never seen them in there since, but like a little wheel brace. And it's a brilliant little tool. So that's all good. So now I believe I can actually put the top back on. At the top, there's 2, a bit there and a bit there, and what happens on this white bit casing at the front, it's a bit difficult for me to show you, but I suppose I could turn it round. Yeah, so everything's done now. That cover's on, the plug's in, the plug cap's on, all of that is done, the carb side of things. So I'm pretty sure this is the next step, and it's just there is sort of little grooves and bits it has to sort of fit between and that, so it's a little bit of a fiddle sometimes to get these on, but I think that's done it. I'm very near. There's one. There we go. Here we go. Did have the 2 screws through, I might have moved them, it might be them ones. So there's just one in there. This is just basically holds everything together, and there's one the other side there. Just get them 2 done. There you go. Sometimes you just have to sort of press it in place because the plastic, it goes sort of between that bit and the aluminium part of the sort of main engine casing behind, so just got to get in line basically. So that's all good. Let's just pull that forward a little bit. This part can go on now. So we'll turn it round again. Very, very nearly there now. So now I'm going to put the recoil back on. The rope isn't very old. I did that a few months ago, so I haven't got to put a new one of them in. I would have done if I hadn't have done it more recently, but that's all good. Now I've got to try and get this in. It's a little bit tricky to get into place because The tank sort of moves as well because these bottom bolts hold the tank in. If we can get that started, what I'll just do is get that started. It's going in that one. See if I can get the top in line, because that bit of casing goes between, but it all looks like it's sort of going in okay. Yeah, I've done that one. We'll do the other one that holds it on there. That one's tight. One's tight. And that one's tight. So just see if it pulls over okay. So I shook the camera a bit, but that is all good. So now the new air filter goes in like so, and then this, that's just got a sort of, yeah, it's gone in all right. It just sort of fits around there a little bit behind there, so let's just do that up. I've done all this work. I'm quite looking forward to trying it tomorrow. I've missed this one. So yep, that's it, all back together. So what have I done? I've done the new bearings, new seals, new primer bulb, new carb kit, new piston rings, new head gasket, 2 new carb gaskets, new plug, and a new air filter. Cleaned the exhaust out, cleaned the tank out. I think, I can't remember now, did I put the new tank filter on? I believe I did. You're probably shouting at the camera saying, yeah, you did that. And I did do it. So yeah, that's all done. So this is about as good as I can sort of get it now. So it should be fine. If you watch a carb video, you'll see probably the main reason it wasn't starting, and I won't spoil that. Watch that video. But anyway, regardless of that, I bought this second hand. It's worked very hard over about 4 or 5 years. I've done a carb kit in it once and piston rings in it once, but I wanted to really give it a good going over, take it all apart, clean it all, which I've done. So hopefully it'll do at least another 2 years. And yeah, they are about £300 new. Parts have cost me probably around £60 or £70 to do this, and a few hours of my time to sort of refurb it without going too over the top, you know, like with new crank and all that, because I think the crank was all good and everything. So yeah, and also I used the old piston, but I have put the piston rings in. So yeah, I'm pretty confident this will be fine, but we will know tomorrow, because I'll take it to work with me and try it out, and I'm looking forward to getting back to this, because yeah, I missed this one. Nice and light. It's a standard 2-stroke, revs out nicely, and for a lot of the maintenance work I do, I don't need no more than this. It's good, and it's also the Combi, so I've got the attachments for it. So yeah, I have missed it, but yep. So you'll join me tomorrow on startup. So I'm at this job and I'm just about to try the Stihl KM94 RC, and yeah, all I've done is put fuel in it. I'm gonna pump the primer up. Let's see. Yep, see, that's pulled up that nicely. And I'll pull it over a few times and see if it starts. It is cold. There you go. Just gonna get Laura to hold the camera and I'll try and start it up. There's no on off on this. It just stops it. Just a button there. So I haven't got to do anything other than the choke on. Primer up and the choke. There you go, success. Sounds good. So yeah, I'm not going to rev it too hard at the moment or work it too hard because I want them piston rings to run in and that. But yeah, it's running well, sounds good. I think the main problem was actually in the carb, so I'll just give it a test on the job later, you know, work it. But like I said, it'll only be light trimming for a start, and then yeah, hopefully it's good for a good while. Last me a couple of years, I'll be well happy. So yeah, so thanks for watching this 3-part series of the Stihl KM94 RC sort of rebuild. Like I said, I didn't put a new crank or piston in it, but replaced most other bits. So yeah, all seems good. So thanks for watching, and I'll be along with another video again soon. So bye for now.